Okay, homeschoolers worry about the wrong things. I did a funny tongue-in-cheek thing about, we're worried about when our kids are gonna read, but they're still putting empty containers in the refrigerator. Or we can't decide if their penmanship is perfect at 8 when they're still not changing the toilet paper roll. Okay, if at any point I say anything that resonates with you and you need help, DM me, send me a message in Facebook. Now Facebook's weird, so just put me, or homeschool help or routine help or something in the DMs. You can always reach me at abetterwaytohomeschool@gmail.com. But I'm telling you that homeschoolers worry about the wrong stuff. It's not about when your kids learn to read. It's that they learn to read. And it doesn't matter if they're 5 or 7 or 9 or 10, like my youngest, or even older. It just matters that they learn to read. And more importantly, that they love to read, because reading is the key to marinating their soul and filling their life with vocabulary and ideas and creativity that they will pull from when they're writing letters, creating resumes or profiles on places like LinkedIn, or writing sales copies, or all of these things. Read, read, read to your kids. That's it. It doesn't matter when they read. It matters that they read eventually. Now, what about writing? Handwriting, penmanship, cursive. Oh, I wanted my kids to have amazing handwriting too. And some of them do, and some of them write as if they're spies, and they try to write in the most microscopic handwriting possible, and that you need a magnifying glass and a special black light in order to read it. It's ridiculous. Can I just say something? Handwriting is wonderful. It really is. But we live right now in 2023, and it's more important that our kids learn to stitch together phrases and ideas, and that it's okay that they type them out, because 97% of their communication is going to happen on a computer. Melissa's saying writing's not happening, and that's okay. You can do text where you speak to text. This is powerful. If you want your kids to be able to capture their creative ideas, give them a way to record it that doesn't frustrate their fine motor skills or their lack thereof. Give them a speech to text tool, and then you go back and forth and you just tell stories. Once upon a time, there was a green giant that lived out in a field, and all of a sudden he found a rock, and under the rock, and you go back and forth, because the goal is not to be able to hold a wonderful Ticonderoga pencil and to write beautiful letters. The goal is clear communication, excellent communication. Yes, we don't want to be embarrassed by their handwriting, but my doctor can't write and he's brilliant. And some of my kids, you can't read their writing and they're brilliant, but you hand them a keyboard and now everything comes out crystal clear. If at any time you need help, you just go to the messages and say me. I'm telling you, we get stuck on the craziest things. There's something magic about the color draining from your hair and your kids becoming taller than you and to fly away from the nest, where you can look back with clarity and see what worked and what didn't. Math. Most kids don't need to go high into algebra. The trigonometries, the calculus, the geometry. Did you know that you don't even need to take geometry to get into a bunch of schools? I found that out in the middle of trying to teach theorems to one of my kids, and I went, what? Instead, you just need to know some basic geometry. You know, the kind of stuff that will help you determine the height of a pole so that you can figure out how much rope you need to raise a flag. Practical stuff. We get so hung up on what grade level our kids are in. My 4-year-old's in Algebra 3. So what? I'm serious, so what? Can they speak? Do they leave empty containers in the refrigerator? Are they kind? Do they love to read? Do they love to brainstorm ideas and think about things? Can they follow directions? There's no race in homeschool that says by the end, our kids need to have hit every level in math, every level of reading, every level of writing. Take a step back. Look at your main goals. What is it that you want by the time your kids graduate high school? This question stumped me way back in the day when I was sitting at that table in a different house, and I was crying over curriculum because I couldn't teach 4 different curriculums to 5 different kids. I was going crazy. And my husband wisely said, Becky, push the curriculum aside. What is it that we want by the time our kids graduate high school? What's our goal? And I was like, oh, that's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that question. Do you know your master homeschool goals? If you don't, that's where you start, because it really helps you not get tripped over the, I'm going to use the word dumb, to get tripped up over the dumb stuff. Like, oh, my 7-year-old can't read yet. My 10-year-old doesn't know his 7 times tables. My 13-year-old hasn't written an essay ever. So what? It doesn't matter. All 5 of my kids were delayed. They didn't read when everybody else read. They didn't write when everybody else wrote. But they were marinated in story, and we focused on our goals. What were our goals? To share our faith with our kids in every day, in everything that we did, whenever possible, because that's what the word says, right? Bring them along in everything you do from sun up to sundown and talk about me all day long. That's my interpretation, but that's what it says. So bring your kids along with you, talk about the Lord, and talk about the things that they need to learn, like that this pencil is not supposed to live on your kitchen table. It's supposed to actually go away where pencils live at the end of the day. And that those empty containers in the fridge need to get thrown away or recycled, right? Focus on the important things as you live your life. How did it turn out? Because that's what my husband and I did. We lived our lives, and we read, and we did a lot of brainstorming. So yeah, in our Homeschooling Olympians, I do go into detail about how you teach kids how to be excellent communicators, how to teach them how to fall in love with story, how to teach them the basic math things that they need to learn. And it's important. But there's no curriculum out there that really helps that, because the curriculum is telling you, turn the page, do the next thing. And if you didn't do yesterday's page, then you're behind. Lies, 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 lies. Just because you didn't finish yesterday's curriculum has nothing to do with your success as a homeschool mom. Did you hear me? Just because you did not do yesterday's curriculum, you will not sabotage your child's future. We get hung up over the dumbest things. The dumbest things. And any lesson, any page in your curriculum really has no bearing on how your kids are going to turn out. What matters is that they know that you see them, that you care, that you're interested in the things that they're interested in, and that when they are interested in something, you lean in and you try to look at it from different directions. Really? You're interested in tree frogs? I wonder how many places on the earth are habitats for tree frogs. I wonder if there's any books out there on tree frogs. Movies, foods, music, and you just run through the math. I can think of some math connections about frogs and tree frogs. Science, art projects. There's all kind. You can do a little skit. You can dance. You can make costumes. There's so much you can do. Kids need to know that they are seen. Just like an avatar, whatever it is that I see you, they need that. They need to know that the big things inside their heart are more important than the things that you have written in your lesson planner. Every single time. They also need to know, if you're married, that you adore your spouse. And they need to see it. You can't just tell them, I love daddy, I love mommy. They need to see it. They need to hear it. They need to see you laugh and play in order for them to keep a playful, joyful heart. Otherwise, your words and your reality, they clash, and eventually they get big enough to question it. They're like, you're saying be joyful, but you're pretty grumpy, mama. And so you have to be careful. Your kids need to know that being a part of a team is necessary, that they are part of your universe, but not the center of your universe, because they're going to grow and they're going to move on. How do I know this? Out of 5, we're down to 1 in the house. Those kids get big and they move on. And you want to see them thrive. So what is it, Mama? By the time your kids graduate high school, what is it that you want them to know? Do you run through your day like a chicken with its head cut off? Or do you move through your day with joy and leaning into learning opportunities, taking care of your home and the things and the people around you? Or are you so frustrated, so overwhelmed, and constantly battling this voice in your head that my kids are behind, I'm a failure, this is probably the worst decision I've made in my life, this homeschool thing, I don't know, I think it's bad, I think it's gonna be bad. Those are all lies. So if you need help in any way, shape, or form, with routine, with goals, with how to make learning fun, with how to understand where you are in homeschooling right now, I'm gonna encourage you to find me, because I have stuff for you. Some of it's even free, and it's amazing because it's stuff that we learned after 25 years. I made so many mistakes. I made all the mistakes for you. You don't have to go make the same mistakes I did. That's what gray hair is for. Anyway, I gotta go. That was my big thought for today. Can't wait to see you in the messages or in my inbox. A better way to homeschool at gmail.com. Bye.